Trump would win the Republican nomination, thinking he'd be easy to beat. Well, we all know that conventional wisdom was turned upside down in 2016. Now, with Senator Bernie Sanders surging to the top of the Democratic field, many Trump allies are cheering him on, believing the self-proclaimed Democratic socialist will be easy to defeat in a general election. But this new piece in the Daily Beast today makes the case that Republicans are actually playing with fire, and the high-stakes plan to get Sanders nominated could backfire. Here's a headline: The Trumpists boosting Bernie Sanders might get what they wish for and regret it. Matt Lewis is a CNN political commentator and a senior columnist at the Daily Beast. He wrote the story. Matt, great to have you on as always.
Good to be back.
Okay, so your advice to Republicans is know your history and be careful what you wish for. Talk to me about that.
Yeah, absolutely. Democrats thought Ronald Reagan would be easy to beat, right? This actor, he's too conservative, too old, all those things. He could never get elected. Democrats thought Donald Trump would be easy to defeat for a lot of reasons. And now Republicans think Bernie Sanders, because he's a socialist, because he's old, for a lot of reasons, would be a great person to run against. Not only would it guarantee Donald Trump's reelection, but it might even give Republicans back the House. And my advice to Republicans is, when it comes to elevating a Democratic socialist to the nomination, is be careful what you wish for. You might get it.
Why? Why should a Sanders nomination actually scare Republicans?
Well, first, I think if you're a conservative Republican and you really believe in things like free markets, the idea of elevating a Democratic socialist to the Democratic nomination is a really scary and risky idea. Once you become the nominee of a major political party, all bets are off. Do I think that Bernie Sanders would be as likely to win as Joe Biden? No, I don't think he'd be as likely. I buy the conventional wisdom. But once you're the nominee, you could win. You have a chance. We saw that with Donald Trump. And so I think it's a very risky proposition. And by the way, I would say just like Ronald Reagan, Bernie Sanders would have a chance if he became the president, not only to win, but to maybe dramatically shift the paradigm, to shift America in a way that we haven't seen in a generation.
We wait until November to see if that happens, or even before then to see if he gets the nomination. But it's not, Matt, it's not just Republicans pushing this narrative that Bernie Sanders' nomination would be a disaster for Democrats, but so are 2020 Democrats, running against Bernie Sanders. This is Joe Biden. Let me play this clip. Joe Biden at the recent New Hampshire debate.
With regard to Senator Sanders, the president wants very much to stick a label on every candidate. We're going to not only have to win this time, we have to bring along the United States Senate. And Bernie's labeled himself, not me, a Democratic socialist. I think that's the label that the president's going to lay on everyone running with Bernie if he's a nominee.
Do you think he's wrong here, that maybe more of the country will embrace socialism if Bernie Sanders is the nominee?
Well, look, I think that Joe Biden has a valid point. I mean, Donald Trump will call Bernie a socialist, and he will use that, I think, somewhat effectively, especially with older Americans. It is going to be a stain on Bernie Sanders' record. It will tarnish his reputation, I think. But it will also excite young people, I think, who have a different perspective and maybe a different recollection about a perspective on history. And again, Bernie Sanders has a populist appeal. I could imagine him doing okay in a place like Michigan when he talks about income inequality and the haves and the have-nots in the corporate media. And then I could see Bernie Sanders exciting young people in a way that Joe Biden couldn't. So, look, I think conventional wisdom is that Joe Biden is the better matchup against Trump if you're a Democrat. But Bernie Sanders, you never know. Who thought that Donald Trump would be the president, right?
I mean, you never know. From
and Republicans
2016 to 2020.
And Republicans, by the way, are boosting Bernie and possibly even going to vote for him in some states to help Hugh Hewitt, who's a conservative commentator, columnist, and radio host, has said he's going to vote for Bernie Sanders. So you never know.
How
in
about
the
that?
primary.
Pigs. Yeah, exactly.
Pigs fly.
Matt Lewis, thank you.
Thank you.
And just a programming note for all of you, take a look back at some of the most hard-fought presidential races throughout history. The CNN original series Race for the White House is back.